Hey everyone, it's Ashley with your Girl for All Seasonings here again with another process video for my sister's album. And I'm just putting in cards right now for the first couple of spreads. This spread talks about my sister's engagement, and that's a cute little quote card. That first lined page is going to be an enlargement and their engagement story that I haven't gotten printed just yet. Here I wanted to put in use one of those photo flips, and you're going to see them come up on the screen from Simple Stories. I didn't like the way that the 3x4 size was going to flip, and so I thought maybe I'd use this 4x4 on this card. It's from the Simple Stories Say Cheese 2 cut apart. I think they called it an elements sheet. So I put it in here, and I wanted to see how these things would work, and I didn't realize that the adhesive was opposite. So I was going to fold the adhesive underneath, and then I realized that it needs to go around the edge like that, and I didn't like that it was going to be covering my brother-in-law's face. So I decided to make my own flip using a piece of branding strip and a piece of cardstock. And so I pull out my paper cutter thinking that I was going to use it, but realized that no, I need my ruler, not my paper cutter. And so here I am just putting a crease in the cardstock, and I'm sorry that this is off camera. I had a lot of issues this day with my camera, with it shutting off, with it dying, with it not saying it couldn't record, and so this video might have a couple weird transitions from where I thought it was recording to where it shut off and then going back and re-recording, so I apologize for that now. Also, in some parts the camera is a little askew and you can't quite see everything, but I apologize, and hopefully that's the last of those issues. Here I'm just playing with it to make sure that that branding strip lines up the way that I wanted it to. I didn't quite want the harsh white cardstock right there on the edge, so I put that branding strip as kind of a design element to make it look like it was part of the design of that card. And I ended up putting it on backwards again, but I just refolded it so that it folded the way that I needed it to. So instead of it wrapping around the edge, I wanted it to fold on itself, and that it'll adhere right to the plastic and then open up. And I apologize because of the camera issues. You can see my crazy wispy hair, but I didn't want to re-record yet again. And so here I'm just trimming things up, and then I'm gonna trim the photo. It was 3x4 originally, and then I just took a little bit off the top and a little bit off the edge so that it fit on that card a little bit better. And then next you're gonna see me embellishing this card. All of the embellishments that I use are from that Say Cheese 2 Bits and Pieces ephemera pack. I do pull out some glitter stickers that I don't end up using on this specific piece. And this photo is just of some onesies my sister had made. We all wore shirts that said bridesmaids and then matching polka dot and red shirts the next day, and so my sister had them screen print some onesies for my son. One says ring bearer, the other one says guardian of the ring, and the last one says princess protection. And it was just fun to have him dressed up with us. Ultimately, for the embellishments, I went with that little square heart piece, that label with the yellow and white star, and then another heart, I think, up in the corner. But one thing I really suggest is if you're going with a large group to Disneyland, to definitely coordinate your outfits, because it really helped us find all of each other in the midst of everyone being there. Also, on that white little label, I think I ended up putting Made with Love, and it's also, the spread's going to show, it's going to have a journaling card put into it that you won't see in this video, because in the midst of all my camera issues, I ended up putting the journaling card, well, it wasn't in my stack of stuff that I was going to use for working on this section of pages, and then I ended up putting it on a different layout and not putting the card that I had originally intended to go there, and so it ended up being a huge mess, which I think is later on this video. And so, as you can see, I just put all the embellishments on and folded it up, and now I'm putting it onto the album. I'm going to adhere it right to the plastic, and again, that lower left hand pocket that's empty right now is going to be where that journaling card goes, just talking about all the fun stuff that we wore. You can also see in the picture above, we had sashes that all said kind of what our title in the wedding was going to be. Jumping ahead at some point coming up. Oh, I was going to put that tape on there, but I didn't end up. So jumping ahead, I'm going to start working on some of the inserts that I have in this section, including a map page that shows the route that the other car full of people took. So me and my son drove from Arizona, and then my two sisters, my mom, and two of the bridesmaids that went, they drove from Northern California down to Anaheim. And so I just detailed their route and stitched it in by hand. Pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, you'll see. Here is the part where I get all my journaling cards messed up. I'm going to put on this journaling card from Sahlin Studios that says, "We are going to Disneyland." And it's originally supposed to go in the lower left-hand corner. But for some reason, I like the way that it looked in the upper left-hand corner, or the upper right-hand corner, and so I put it on there, not remembering that I had a card already picked out for there that didn't quite work in a lower left-hand position, and so I ended up ripping both of those off. And in the rest of the video, you can kind of see both of those ripped up journaling cards just sitting over there on the left hand side, because once you adhere something with the ATG gun and you smooth it down and you press it out, it's not coming up. That thing's pretty solid. And again, I'm sorry for being off camera here. I'm just lining up the 4x6 photo with the insert or a card that you'll see. I had made this card on my own using a free printable from Sahlin Studio as well, and it just says "We are here," and I'm going to put the date stamp on there. They had left at one time on the 14th and didn't get to the hotel until like 3 o'clock in the morning the next day, so I just date stamped it, and then I put the time underneath the date. And then I think I'm gonna transition again. Yeah, here we go. We jumped forward a bit, and I'm just using the page protectors to punch holes and put everything in. And I think at this point we're getting close to the end of the video. Again, thank you for putting up with this choppy video. And thank you for watching these videos, and if you like what you see, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I know this one's probably terrible to say please like it, but I promise the rest of these won't be as horrible as this one is. And oh, over here on the right you'll see this layout that I ended up making with a 4x6, and in the video that I think went up before this video is a process for that layout, and so if you want to see how I put that together, that is there. And so right now I'm just putting things into pockets and tucking everything in. And like I said before, I promised the next process video was not going to be this terrible. And oh, you can just barely see where I had replaced some of those cards. It's a yellow striped one instead of that Disney card, which I ended up we'll put at the bottom. But again, thank you for watching, and there's going to be a quick little flip of all of these pages, I believe. Maybe. Yeah. So you can kind of see how they're going to go in there. And thanks again.